So I was asked, what really pushed me into being independent? Like, what really made me say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start my independent business. I'm gonna go full throttle with this. You know what I mean? I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was just asking about a few things that turned things for me in a direction to make me really pursue it the way that I am, you know. And to be honest with you, you know, I'm from the streets, man. And when you're raised a certain way, if things go left field for you, you're gonna always result back to what you know what I mean? And I grew up hustling whatever I could hustle. So it wasn't, you know, no necessarily no drug dealer, but I did, you know, hustle drugs. But I was a hustler, and at this particular time in my life, I was actually hustling weed at the time, and I was working a job welding, just working it, and you know, just working a job. But I couldn't see myself getting anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't see them letting me eat. So I was like, man, I'm gonna get this little check and then I'm done. And I just started just hustling bud and just doing other different little hustles, like, you know, having businesses, you know, like doing little side hustles, but I was, you know, networking weed, you know what I mean, literally, right before everything just became legal, you know what I mean. This was like 2015, actually. It wasn't legal where I was at anyway. It was 2015 when all this occurred, before I jumped off and kicked off my independence in 2016, really. When I really kicked it off and got serious, and then 2017 I started my business. But in 15 I had a situation that occurred that, you know, a friend of mine who, you know, we was networking, and he ran off with, you know, everything I had, you know what I mean, like my last penny. You know, I ain't gonna just say what it was, you know what I mean, but he ran off with the last thing I had at that moment, and we was networking some bud, and things that just got tight. Life has just got tight, you know what I mean? And after someone that I would have literally died for, like, this was like, I would consider this guy my best friend, you know what I mean? And, you know, my mama knew, you know what I mean, before she died, so she didn't even know that he did this. She would have never even, she had turned over in her grave if she knew he did me that way, you know what I mean? Like, literally, like, it was bad. So it was, you know, it hurt me to the point where I was tired of the system. I had been hurt and been burnt by somebody, betrayed by somebody that I literally would have died for, that I would have laid my life down for, you know, to help, did whatever. And they you know, hit me and put me in a messed up situation at a point in my life where I was forced to, you know how the old folks say, you either gonna take a shit or you gonna get off the pot. I was forced to go on and take a shit and get off the pot and start my independence, man. That's when it started for me, because I was like, you know what? You know, that happened. I'm trying the streets. That stuff went left field. You can't trust nobody. I'm just messing with some bud. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn. And took my last, and I'm like, man, I need to figure this out. So I got an opportunity at a job to get some more education on ironworking. So that's when I actually became a journeyman ironworker, and I took the ironworking classes from this company that I was working for, and I got a chance to get the most money I had made in the state of Arkansas, being a welder, just a welder. I was in Northeast Arkansas. I was making $20 an hour as an iron worker welder, and that was like good money, you know what I mean? And day shift, you know what I mean? Worked some weekends, you know what I mean? But it was good money. Like, I liked it what I did, you know what I mean? The company was a little BS here and there, but I got a chance to get a lot of education from that company. Like, that's why I got the ironworking there. And then I went and gone and got my certifications in welding. Even though they paid for my certs, I went and gone and got my own. Like, I went and got my own cert. So when I started my business, I had my own. But when I left there, they had my cert. So that was the last company that I worked for that I got certified in. And when I left, they kept my certs. But why I jumped into the independent field was because, you know, I got burned by a friend, one of my best friends, actually, you know. So I'm transitioning from the streets into being independent, into welding and fabricating engineering, because that's where I literally seen some finances and I seen some peace. I was actually able to travel like what I'm doing now. I was able to do some things that I couldn't have did if I would have still been in the streets, man. And I remember that last run I made a run, and I remember, like, I can't even lie to y'all, it was so many police on the road, so many, and it was like every certain turn off, somebody was turned off, you know, getting ramshacked, or police was posted. I'm like, man, what's going on? And that's the day I made it in my heart, and I said, you know what? If I make it back with this little run, this little weed that I had, you know what I mean, I had some pounds on me. I said, if I make it back with this and get all the way to go legit, start my independence in. And that's what I did, y'all, literally. And I can't lie to you, because it really motivated me to switch some things up, man. I'm like, man, I got to switch some stuff up. One of my best friends I would have died for burnt me. It seems like, you know, I get up and then I fall back down, and then, you know what I mean? So I was like, man, I was just tired. I was like, you know, surely I can figure out something with this welding and fabrication and engineering and field welding, mobile welding, that I can be able to do some things that could take me to a new level, you know what I mean? And that's literally what happened, man. I jumped into the field welding first because, you know, I was in the field, so that was the easiest money that I figured out how to do for the numbers. And then once I figured out my numbers, and then I moved into the products over talent, where I started focusing on products. And that's what I focus on now, products in my own services, and not just working or networking with the system. Not saying there's nothing wrong with networking with the system, because I will get a bag with the system, you know what I mean? But I'm working with the system and not for the system, so that's a big difference. So I just wanted to say, man, the transition over was a little intense, man, and I can't say that I didn't go through some depression, man, because like I say, man, that's one of my best friends I would have died for. He burned me, and then the streets, it just, things were just raw, you know what I mean? You really didn't know who to trust. You got one person saying they're your friend, the next person trying to set you up. You know, people getting busted and not even saying nothing to you. And even though you find out and they call you asking you what's going on. Hey, man, you got anything going on? You thinking to yourself, nah, I ain't got nothing going on. But you ain't saying nothing because you know. Like, damn, do you just get busted? You ain't telling me you just got caught up. That's the streets, man. It's just wicked, man. So I think just from an individual aspect, especially coming from the streets to my youngers out there, you know what I'm saying? Hey, man, ain't nothing but death and destruction in them streets. That's it. When it's all said and done, man, it's always going to give you a raw end. So you have to find a legit way. And God will provide a way. Like everything that's in you, you was born with. So you just got to figure out how to use it. You just got to find your niche, find your hustle. And that's what I did with welding and hip hop. You know what I mean? That's why I created that hashtag welding hip hop, because, you know, hip hop is my culture, and welding is actually how I funded my hip hop, and how I funded myself, and how I found my financial freedom, you know. So I like to lead by example, you know what I mean? So just wanted to share that story with you.